What's going on, everybody? This is DG from DG Mindset. I get this question a lot. A lot of people ask me this question. They say, how do you heal from heartbreak? How do you heal from heartbreak? I'm going to tell you how you heal from heartbreak. First, understand that heartbreak is actually needed along this cosmic journey of you beginning to learn how to love yourself. See, every time that you have your heart broken, essentially what that means is you have put your acceptance, your worth, your validation, and your value in someone else's hands, in someone else's perspective. So now, if let's just say there's maybe an ugly breakup, right? There was infidelity, there was cheating, whatever. What happens is these energetic ties that I had to this person, I had put my well-being energetically in their hands, and they cut the cord. And now because they cut the cord, guess what ends up happening? I feel lost. The key is realizing this. Number one, I can't put my validation, approval, and acceptance in somebody else's hands. And if I'm doing it, I must ask myself, why? What is it? What is it about myself that I just can't maybe validate myself, or I don't accept myself? Maybe perhaps growing up, you were never told that you did a good job. So now you don't even know how to encourage yourself. You don't even know how to believe in yourself. You don't even know how to validate yourself. So now guess what we end up doing? We look for somebody else to do it. Ah, yes, here's someone, i.e. a spouse, a partner. Then they give us a little bit of attention. They make us feel warm. They make us feel loved. And then here's what ends up happening. The ego, so subtly, so sneaky, puts its validation in their validation of us. So now we have an attachment. And when that attachment is cut, that is the heartbreak that you're feeling. The key to combat heartbreak is to realize, number one, that heartbreak is actually just trying to show you that it's time for you to regain and take back your self-acceptance and your self-approval, and not to put your self-worth in somebody else's believing in you or conditioning of you or validation of you. It's about you doing it first for yourself. This is why we call it self-love, self-acceptance, self-worth, self-esteem. It was coming from the self. So if it's coming from the self, only the self could supply it. But if we're not aware that we have a wound inside, maybe it's a fear of abandonment, maybe it's inadequacy, maybe it's a fear of being alone, what ends up happening is the ego will protect that wound by putting the worth outside in a partner or a spouse or a significant other in a romantic relationship. And now, for whatever reason, because we're operating in the frequency of unworthiness, we will attract a mate that is at that level of unworthiness. And let's just say there's some infidelity and now there's cheating. Before you know it, you've broken up. Their reason for doing it was the same reason why you even attracted them in your life in the first place. If I'm putting my worth in somebody else's hands, that says that I am not worthy by myself, and I need them to deem me worthy. In the moment that we put our worth or our value or our validation on the outside, we will inevitably become a slave to it. So here's the key. The key is for us to realize that heartbreak is actually just the universe's way of trying to get you to realize, hey, you need to start to validate and love yourself first. So now you won't depend on someone else to do it. So if they choose to make the decision to go off and do whatever, which would cause heartbreak, now here's what ends up happening. It may sting a little bit, but it won't be devastating because you never put all of your worth in their acceptance of you anyways. So this sounds counterintuitive to how we've been taught and how we've been conditioned to be in a relationship. But the reality of it is this relationship, this living entity, is comprised of two different beings. And one being had to essentially balance out the masculine, feminine energies in it, and this other being had to do the same thing. And if they both could do it, then the collective of what we call this couple would be healthy. But what ends up happening is we get programmed, and usually through unawareness, we put our validation, our self-love, we put it over there in them. So I love me as long as they love me. And I love me as long as they love me. And now guess what we've done? We've just created codependency on each other. And now the moment that one of them is taken away, it's over. It's done. We're screwed. The healthiest way is for you to love yourself without condition and for them to love themselves without condition. So now there will be no breaking of the hearts because there was never a dependency on the other one to fulfill the heart. And this is how you have a healthy, sustainable relationship. Now, I know what you're probably thinking right now. Yeah, but that doesn't tell me how to get over heartbreak. Heartbreak is what is used for you to start the journey back inward. So think of it like this. We put everything on the outside. The ego's constantly projecting. Never ever do we turn inward. But when we have our hearts broken, it forces us to start to go back inward. And when you go back inward, this is where the mending, this is where the healing, this is where the process of self-validation, self-acceptance, and self-approval can begin. So just understand that your heartbreak isn't quote unquote negative. It's actually needed for you along this journey so you can start to go inward and reflect and see, what would I do differently knowing what I know now if I could go back? And when you do that, you'll see that this heartbreak actually helped you to reach another level of awareness, of an understanding of yourself. And this understanding of yourself is going to yield a new frequency, a new vibration, a new understanding, a new level of self-worth, a new level of self-acceptance. And then you will see, my friend, that this breakup, this heartbreak, was actually the thing that propelled you forward. And this is the cycle of life. The negative energy, the entropy happens first to yield the positive. Keep going, my friend.